All right, let's see how it feels. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Since the release of the Model Y, it had some Model 3 owners, including myself, questioning whether or not to trade in the 3 for the Y. Now, up until this point, I was able to conclude I would rather keep my Model 3 without even seeing the Y up close and personal. Now, not too long ago, a new Model Y owner reached out to me and offered to let me take his new ride for a spin, and I didn't hesitate in accepting his offer. Now, I arrived at our meeting point seconds before him, and he greeted me with this. Oh, look at that. Show me what he's got. Now, I already knew it was a beautiful car from what I've seen in pictures and videos, and that was all confirmed upon seeing it up close for the first time. That is a good-looking car. And just from my first glance, seeing this thing for the first time in real life, I can see the size difference. I can see that it is bigger. Good-looking car. I'm definitely, as I'm looking at my car and then I look at the Y over here, it's clear to me that yes, they are the same basic body style, but when you look at the 3, it does look just a little bit more sporty, right? So it is like the sport version, and then you've got here, obviously a sporty looking car, but it's just bigger and not as, it's higher profile. You've got a higher profile, then you've got a lower profile here. Definitely. So they both in their own right are beautiful cars, but in different ways. Exactly. It looks like someone took a Model 3 and filled it up with air. Yep. Is what we're looking at here. Exactly. So interesting. So I'm opening the door, and I opened it a little bit earlier, but it definitely feels heavier upon opening it. And again, it's really hard to tell from video because you have to see it side by side, but this door panel and door in general is bigger. When I actually kind of just look at it from initially from the inside, the only difference that I notice from the 3 is not necessarily size, but everything seems to be sitting up higher. And of course, you've seen this in other videos. It's because of that right down there. These seats are sitting up on a platform, giving you a higher perspective. So I'll definitely get that feel once I get in the car. But the center console, the center screen, everything looks, and from what I'm seeing, feels the same as the Model 3. The moment everyone's been waiting for, and this is something that should be on the 3. Oh, there it is, the automatic hatch right there. There, of course, is the button right here to make it close. Let's give that a shot. So now let's take a look at inside. And I mean, you look at this, and let's just, for example, say right here, it's covered. That's essentially what we're looking at here. So it feels more spacious. It looks more spacious. So as I look at this, I go, I want to put a bike back here. Piece of cake now, because I don't have the trunk in the way. Now here is the space down here. It looks a little bigger. Yeah, it does look a little bit deeper. Definitely is some more space in there as well. Everybody likes to have extra space, so this is just kind of one more thing. So that's pretty impressive. Oh, that's pretty neat how it stays up by itself. I like that. So it looks like you have to kind of maybe lift it. Yeah, there we go. And then you've got 2 compartments right here. Again, these are all things you may or may not have seen, but this is just my first overall impression. Now, this is something I thought was pretty cool too. Let's take a look at this. Look at that. That is so cool. Now, of course, where is that other?
The hidden hatch?
Yeah.
It's right here. So what you have to do is you have to open the first one.
Oh, look at that. Now you have, so there is that extra space in here. You forgive the shadows, but you know, I think the reason there's this space here is going to be for the seats. When you have that 3rd row seating in here. Now, what would really impress me is, you know, of course they did go down automatically. It really impressed me if they went up automatically, but you know, it's not a perfect world, is it? All right, so again, there's the opening itself right here, and noticeably deeper, so you're going to be able to fit more things in here. And I like this. They didn't put that little carpet in there. Of course, they don't even do that anymore with the 3. This is a little bit more rugged, and just kind of has a more of that rugged feel. So really neat right here. I like that. I like the size. And so Mike over here said it may reconvince me to sell my Model 3 for the Y. How about this? This may convince you after you drive my 3 that you want to trade the Y for the 3. You think that might happen?
Probably not.
Hey, you never know. Let's see what happens after we drive them.
All right.
From my perspective, as I'm sitting here for the first time, the main thing that I'm noticing is the steering wheel looks the same. So does the center console. The center console and the screen looks and feels the same. As I'm sitting here, I'm 6'1", 6'2". As I'm sitting here, I definitely feel like there is more room for my legs as I'm sitting up higher, that my feet can go down a bit deeper. As I'm sitting here looking in front of me, I can see, and it definitely does feel like I'm higher off the ground, that there is a higher perspective from the 3. I'm not sitting as low. But as I look back here, I look in the back seat. This is kind of neat, being able to see a bit more in the back. And there's the back seat. And of course, here's the infamous no center beam right there. That really is, even from up here, really great. I love that. So there is my overall first impression just sitting in the car. Now I'm going to put this on the windshield and we're going to put this thing in drive. Okay, here we go. We're going to get ready to put this thing in reverse and see how it goes. I see him over there. He's driving my 3. I have a feeling that he's feeling... Oh, I got to use the key. He didn't want to give me his phone. I don't blame him. All right, so let me put the key in here. All right, it's going to his settings, it looks like. All right, let's put this in reverse. I heard the typical motor that engages it into reverse. And yeah, I definitely feel like I'm just sitting up higher. I feel like almost feel like I'm king of the road compared to that of the Model 3, right? As far as just because I'm sitting up higher, it feels bigger. So I feel the weight of the car. It feels heavier. I'm not going to step on it just yet. I'm going to hold that off. I'm going to kind of build up that anticipation. This, by the way, is the all-wheel drive. It's not the performance version, but I'm sure it's not going to disappoint me as far as the overall feel of the acceleration. All right, so he's got it on one pedal drive. Very nice. So it feels the same way there. It has the same feel as well. As of right now, there might be probably a little bit more headroom, but that being said, it doesn't feel that much more spacious inside. And I may feel a little bit different maybe as I get inside or from the back here. I have driven an X for a day, and that obviously feels a lot bigger. So it's kind of that in between, right? But still, it feels just as solid as the 3. It feels like it will handle pretty well in some of those sharper turns. We'll kind of test that as well. I'm about to get on the highway, and this will be my opportunity to really kind of step on it and see how it does here. So let's do that. Get on the highway here. All right, here we go. We're going to go ahead and, yeah, oh yeah. So it definitely doesn't disappoint. It feels a lot like my rear-wheel drive Model 3. So the acceleration. Now here's the thing, and I remember this when I was driving the S for the first time. It had that really impressive acceleration, but one of the main differences was the fact that you could feel that weight. You could feel the heavier weight of the car, and hence the motor was able to do what it needed to do to give you that really good acceleration. But the weight itself, as I do that, I can feel a little bit more weight being pushed forward. So that's kind of one of the things that I'm noticing that's a little bit different. Let's see. I don't know if he has Autopilot. I meant to check. He does. He does have autopilot. Very nice. Well, of course he's going to have autopilot. I don't know if he has full self-driving or not. And as you have more lanes coming in, or you know, 3 lanes turning into 2, as I'm doing right now, it kind of still has a little bit of that wobbly feel. It doesn't quite 100% know what to do. But let's go ahead and kind of bump this up a little bit. We're at 75. Feels good. But let's see if it... Oh yeah, he does have full self-driving because it is stopping at the red light. There we go. Kind of put that to the test. Let's see how it does as the light turns green. The light, yep, it's about to turn green here. So let's see how it does going into this left turn here. There we go. Nice response. Just like my 3, kind of has some of the same hesitations, especially on these turns. Yeah, that acceleration, it again does not disappoint in any stretch of the imagination. But I've always been impressed, even with mine, with just how fast it is off the line and how great it feels. That was... I just saw another Tesla, and it looked like it may have been a Model Y. I live in Redding, California. I've yet to see one, so kind of interesting. I'm driving a Y, and then to see another one. So maybe we're starting to see more Ys make its way into these podunk little towns like Redding. So overall, I would say that this car has pretty much the same feel. The main differences in feel are sitting up higher. As a result, it's not going to feel as sporty. Now, I hate to say that because that doesn't mean it's not a sporty car. It is. It feels very sporty. But if you were to say the Model 3 was a 10 on the sporty side, this is like a 9. Don't let that fool you. This car feels phenomenal and feels great. It takes off like it needs to take off. It gives you that same instant torque like that of the Model 3, at least the long-range version that I have. Okay, the rear-wheel drive. This is, as I would expect, a great car, and there's no denying it. So what I'm going to do here, I am getting off the exit here, and I'm going to go ahead and see how it feels from a dead stop off the line and see how it goes. So let me... Oh, we got some people on their little birds. There he is. He's gonna... Oh, Mike's gonna see me do this, but he says, go crazy, have some fun. All right, so I've come to a complete stop. All right, let's see how it feels. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo! That felt good. And I'm gonna have to do it with my 3 again to compare, because that almost felt a little bit faster than my 3. Well, I'm gonna do this one more time and let's see. I've got to try this one more time. Okay, off the line. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it does get into that, like, you know, you feel like that roller coaster ride, that thrill as it really starts to take off. But yeah, the acceleration, I mean, there's just no doubt it's phenomenal. All right, so let's see how it feels for me getting out. So being higher off the ground, you know, I'm older. I hate to say it, but I'm a little bit older and I'm tall. So getting out of my 3 is, I wouldn't say a challenge, but it's something I have to kind of think about. So let me get out of the Y and see how it feels. Holy cow, that is a million times better. Getting out of this car is so much easier than getting out of the 3 because you're that much higher off the ground. You're sitting higher, number 1, because it's on a platform, but number 2, there is a little bit more ground clearance on the Y. But getting out of this thing, wow, there is a big difference getting in and out of this thing. Okay, so I'm sitting here in the back seat. Now, here's the thing that's interesting. Let me take my sunglasses off so we get a bit more personal. So as I sit here in the back seat, number 1, first and foremost, this panoramic view, this panoramic shot is, wow. This is one of those things where I love going to places like Yosemite. And what would be phenomenal if you're sitting in the back seat and you're able to enjoy just what Yosemite has to offer when you get in the valley, and just scenic views in general. So, all right, so as I'm sitting here in the back seat, first things I notice is the panoramic view. But another thing that I really like is the fact that the floor is deeper. So your knees are sitting lower. It's definitely going to be more comfortable for those longer trips for the people sitting in the back. Headroom, I'm 6'1". It's certainly there. And let's not forget about the reclining seats. Wow, it's all automatic. I didn't realize that. So it goes back to position. So if I'm sitting back, yeah, I mean, having it recline like that is, I think, going to make the trip a little bit more comfortable for people sitting in the back seat. Now, obviously, if you have it packed, I mean, you're packed, it might be difficult for these seats to recline, but, oh, it goes back 3. I thought it only went back 2, so three positions. Now let's see what happens. Okay, so now I have to take the pressure off, and it goes up 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so there are those 3. Very nice. I like that. I like the reclining of availability. There is, you've got the cup holders as you would typically have, a little bit wider with this sitting here. So I don't know if that was just a design difference or what, maybe to make sitting in the center seat a little bit more comfortable. I'm not sure, but this is definitely a little bit wider right here. And again, sitting in the center, definitely not as comfortable, without a doubt. Not as comfortable sitting in the center seat here. You sit up a little bit higher, and you don't sit as back, and you don't have the nice comfortable seat back here. But yeah, I wouldn't want to sit in this on a long trip. So comfortably 4 people at least with this car, because of course you got the 7-seater coming up here pretty soon. But definitely feels a little bit different in the center. But again, as I look in the back here, everything feels the same, from the handles to the opening the door. The speaker, there is a speaker up higher as opposed to the one that's closer to the ground here, so that's a little bit different design. And as I look back, and oh, there it is. That's what I was wondering about, the 12-volt hookup in the back there. That is pretty cool. I like that.
Well, as we all know, there is always some bad that comes with the good. Now, as to be expected, there are some fit and finish issues on the exterior of the car. Panel gaps and misalignment, to name a few. On the inside, there is some separation of the panel on the back seat. And one of the levers to fold down the back seats sticks. One of the coat hangers doesn't fold down after pressing it. Now, the car was delivered touchless, meaning Tesla dropped it off in front of his house, and he had a brand new Model Y when he walked out to his driveway. Now, what's interesting is there was dirt and debris in the second hidden storage compartment. There was also what looked like dirt or grease smudges on the interior of the car. Now, since it was a touchless delivery, all he could do was respond to the request via email on his experience with the delivery, and has yet to hear back from Tesla regarding his complaints. So now that I've seen the car up close and personal and took it for a drive, have I changed my mind not to trade in my Model 3? Nope. Don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful car, and as I mentioned in my previous videos, fits my personal needs better than that of the Model 3. However, the differences between the two don't warrant the hit financially to make it happen. If I was in the market for a new car and had to decide between the two, I'd without a doubt go for the Y, despite the fact that the price tag is $4,000 bigger. But that's me. You have to look at your particular situation and decide which car fits your needs best. Do you need the added cargo space? Do you need the extra few inches of ground clearance? And don't get me started on how disappointed I am in the Model Y's ground clearance. Do you and your passengers need the added legroom? Is the added towing capacity something you need? Now, range is not an issue because it's quite comparable to that of the 3. Whatever you decide, you're going to be happy any way you look at it. They both have ridiculous acceleration rates, improve over time with software updates, and most importantly, takes one more fossil fuel burning car off the road. So what are your thoughts on the Y? Are you on the fence between the two cars, and which one are you leaning towards? I'd love to read what you think in the comments section below. Well, that's it for now. Thank you all for watching, and you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and stay positively charged.